Now, three of Britain's biggest banks have struggled in a key stress test of how they would cope in a future financial crisis. The Royal Bank of Scotland came out worst, and now it must bolster its balance sheets by $2.4 billion. But what is a stress test? Well, it puts a bank in a hypothetical major economic crisis by dropping a country's employment rate, GDP, and house prices. It measures whether or not the bank has enough capital to withstand the impact. If it fails, the bank then has to reevaluate its strategy, and in this case, RBS must cut its dividend payouts to preserve money. For more on this, Tig Enright sent us this report.
Well, RBS means bad memories for the people of Britain. This is the bank, at one stage the world's biggest, which had to be bailed out at a cost of $56 billion during the financial crisis. British taxpayers still own 73% of it. Well, that's why the Bank of England carries out these stress tests, and it says the risks are elevated now because of Brexit and the US presidential election. So the latest tests were the toughest ever, checking to see how banks would cope if the economy shrank by 4.3% and house prices fell by 31%. And the outcome for RBS was that it would not survive without help.
No surprise about RBS, they just don't seem to be able to get themselves out of the mess.
I'm not very confident.
Yeah. But are you confident that these tests are being applied and we're checking to see how they'd survive?
Yeah, definitely. As long as somebody's checking it.
We hope that another 2008 isn't going to happen, but it has to be worrying.
Well, RBS is not alone. Barclays, Standard Chartered only scraped through these tests. Indeed, banks all over Europe are having a big problem with profitability, what with interest rates having barely moved from their historic lows over the last 8 years. RBS, along with Germany's Deutsche Bank, also paying big fines for the bad behaviour that's in their past. There is, though, worse problems in Italy, where banks are still grappling with crisis-era loans that are likely ever to be repaid. Management here have had to come up with a new capital plan, and that's likely to curtail profits even more. Indeed, RBS has made far more losses than profits since the financial crisis.